Hi everyone, and welcome to a little overview of assistive technology. My name is Chris Keel. I'm a specialist of physical and health disabilities and traumatic brain injury from the Southwest West Central Service Co-op. There will be two parts to this overview, so after you're done here, make sure you watch the second. To start off with, we'll watch a YouTube video.
We all like to do things, like color, and read, and use a computer. It's how we play, learn, work, and get things done. But when a disability makes it hard to do something we'd like to do, we need a little help. Luckily, there's a solution. Welcome to Simply Said, Understanding Assistive Technology. Assistive technology, or AT, is anything that helps you do something you couldn't do otherwise, like walk, run, communicate, and more. These helpful tools can be as simple as a foam grip that makes it possible for a child to grasp a crayon and create art, as common as glasses that make it possible for a student to read and learn, or as sophisticated as software that makes it possible for an employee to convert their spoken word to text on a computer screen and succeed. Whether you're young or old, male or female, whether you've had a disability from birth or developed one over the years, AT can help. Finding AT is easier than you might think. Every state has an Assistive Technology Act program to help you find AT. In Minnesota, it's called the STAR program. You can find it at starprogram.state.mn.us. To find a program like STAR in another state, check out the Association of Assistive Technology Act programs at ataporg.org. There are also many AT centers, including Pacer's Simon Technology Center, that you can find at pacer.org/STC. The STC's consultants help you explore the numerous technology options available. Its lending library lets you try different kinds of AT to discover what works best for you. So now you know a little bit about AT. It helps you do something that you couldn't do without it, and it's available in every state. This has been Simply Said, Understanding Assistive Technology. Video style inspired by commoncraft.com. Produced by the Pacer Center. Directed by Bridget Giuliarmini. Artwork and narration by Jonathan Campbell. This project was funded through the Minnesota STAR program.
So throughout the United States and in Minnesota, many teams use the SET process when considering assistive technology for a student. This acronym starts with the student identifying their strengths and weaknesses, identifying their preferences, their learning style. The team really has to understand how their disability is affecting them. The next area is environment. So within the school setting, kids need to have access to many places: the cafeteria, the computer lab, the gym, library, classrooms, science lab. The first T is tasks. So when the student gets to those school environments, what tasks do they have to do there? Do they have to write? Do they have to read? Do they have to do a hands-on project? Are they supposed to discuss certain things? And then lastly comes the tools, the shiny objects, right? So what tools do kids need to accomplish tasks in their school environment? And it all depends on the needs of the student. So there are many online trainings to learn more about the SET process, and right now the law states that teams have to consider assistive technology. How that's done is left up to districts at this time. So in our regions, 6 and 8, we are training teams to use this AT consideration checklist. Teams can use this or tweak it to meet their district needs. About 5 years ago, a group of Service Co-op employees created this document, and it was originally developed by a group in Wisconsin. So credits to Wisconsin and to the service co-op are written at the bottom of the page. So this is our way, our region's way of simplifying that set process in a one-pager, as we know that special ed staff have enough paperwork to do. So you can use this tool, this page here, during an evaluation or on an annual basis, before your IEP, during your IEP, and it really does cover the set process, because at the top you're going to identify the demographics of the student, and then under 1 there are different areas, A through N, where you're identifying the needs of the students, if there's a concern in that area or not. And then if there is a concern, you're going to address that below in the boxes. And the boxes under AT consideration record, there are more boxes like that on the back side of this document, and you can add as many pages as you need to identify the current record for that student. So in the first box, you're supposed to list the tasks that they need to do. Is it writing? Is it reading? Is it math? Which area above needs to be addressed first? The second box talks about to complete that tasks, are there strategies or accommodations that the student is currently using? You would want to describe it there. Section B talks about is the student currently using assistive technology tools in that area, and how is that working? If they're set in stone that the student needs this certain communication device or writing grip, then you want to state that it's working and that they already have this. The last box is an area where you can state what needs to be tried with a student, because from year to year the needs of the student may grow as they're expected to do more things within the school environment. And so we have to try different tools to see if it's going to work for that student. And by stating that the team's going to try something, it doesn't lock a district into purchasing that, but you're going to try it. Your data will show if it's a useful tool or not. And then in the following IEP, you would be able to write that the student needs that. So it's okay in IEPs to say that you're going to try something, but then the next year follow up with that and tell us the outcome of that trial. So if you have any further questions on this tool to aid teams in identifying what assistive technology is needed for a student, feel free to contact me or your coordinator of special education. SEAT teams within districts are being trained to use this as well. So now I just want to give you a few examples of what assistive technology is supportive of a student in those areas on that sheet we just looked at, in the areas A through N on the previous slide. So there are tools to help kids get dressed. There are tools to help kids eat more independently. And there are even tools to support activities of daily living as far as cooking. So stove button extensions are attached so that a student has easier access to them. There are a variety of switches under communication supports. There are switches that will have a one message recording on it, or switches that have multiple levels of recordings on it. We also have switches, they come in small, medium, and large, where you just touch the switch to activate something. So another support under communication is devices themselves, and examples include like a Dynavox or Toby, a GoTalk, and these are actual devices, or maybe it's an iPad, where students press on the screen and a message will be said aloud by touching a picture or touching a word that is said aloud. PEX is, just like it states, Picture Exchange Communication System, where a student may walk up to you with a picture and you need to give them whatever's on that picture. So you're exchanging, and that's how a student learns to communicate. I give you this and I get what I want. There are a variety of apps as well to support students' communication. Proloquo Go and Sounding Board are a couple examples. And again, these are just a variety of squares on the screen. Anything from I want, something under foods or something under toys or something under movies to support their language. POD, Pragmatic Organization of Dynamic Display, is another communication system. It's kind of set up in a binder, and this is where adults are modeling. They're going to point to pictures within the binder and talk about what they want and point at the same time in hopes that the student models that. So eventually they are able to touch the different pictures within the binder and communicate with another person as a way to get their needs met. For writing, there are different word prediction programs out there. Co-Writer is just one example. Read and Write for Google is another one. Or we also have writing utensil positioning grips, and that just supports students in writing more legibly. Slant boards are used to reduce glare for some kids and make it easier for kids to write neater. We also have speech-to-text software where a student can put on a headset and talk into the microphone, and whatever they say pops up on the screen. So it alleviates their need to physically type. So it's pretty amazing stuff. And they're also able to use verbal commands on the headset so that they can control their computer. Some assistive technologies under reading include the following. So a Bookshare account would need, what this gives students is the opportunity to hear books online. So your novels, your periodicals, and textbooks can all be read aloud to students. Students who are physically impaired, learning disabled, and vision impaired can sign up for a Bookshare account for free. All other kids would need to pay $50 a year to receive a Bookshare account. Once you have that account set up, then you do need to probably purchase an app or download a software, depending on the device you're using, to access those Bookshare books. And so, for example, on an iPad, I have the Read2Go app downloaded. And that will allow me to download a book or a textbook on my device. And once it's there, I don't need the internet anymore to listen to that book. I could be on the baseball field or in the car listening to that book. So those are some nice features. Other online books, ebooks, you can grab books from the library that are read aloud to students as well. Text-to-speech software, is just as the title states. Whatever's on your screen can be read out loud to you. Reading pens look similar to a regular pen. They're just a little thicker because you're going to highlight a word, and the pen is actually going to state that word. And if you press another button on the pen, it will tell you the definition. So that's pretty cool. And again, there are a variety of apps that support students in reading as well. Here is a listing of math supports. So all of these tools can be used to support students in accomplishing something they weren't able to do before. And the last slide I'll talk about in this section is mobility. Walkers, wheelchair, either power or manual, gait trainers, arm crutches, and adapted chairs, lap trays. They're all things that you probably understand. It's the equipment mounts that you may not be as familiar with. And these are just gadgets that can be added to a wheelchair, added to a station or a table to support something else. Maybe you need to support a communication device or a writing tool or a switch. So that's what equipment mounts are. And so these tools are very useful to support kids in accessing their school environment. So thank you. This is the end of the first section. There are a few more slides on another recording to finish up this overview of assistive technology. Thank you very much.